Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a week since the last video that I did, and I really want to kind of start cranking these out a little bit more. So we got another project today. I actually showed it in the last video, the live video that I did doing the camp cooking, which was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing the live video. So today we're going to crack on with the ultimate camp cooking kit build. Today we're making the grill and grate. So all this is rebar and expanded metal and one of our adjuster sleeves here. It's a pretty simple deal, just a bunch of rebar. So I've got most of the pieces cut out. The pieces for the main frame going around it, I still have to bend the angles on it and cut the rebar down so that we can make it into the right size. And the right size being 16 by 22, which is what this piece of expanded metal is. And this is flat expanded metal, so you can see that everything is real nice and smooth-ish. But yeah, this is what we're going to be using for the grilling grate, and the rebar is the frame around it. So what I've got is I've got two pieces of rebar here. This is 1/2 inch, these are 4 foot long, and somewhere around here, right about here, I've marked it with a chisel, just a cold chisel, just so that I can see it when this heats up. But that is 8 inches in from the end, and that's where we're going to bend them. We're going to do 4 bends, and then we're going to cut, because this is so long, we're going to cut a chunk out of the middle, mostly because I'm not that good at bending metal, and so getting that 90 square, I can do it on one side, but then getting it on the same plane on the other end, not so good. So once we get these two pieces bent, we're going to cut the section out of the middle to the correct length that we need, weld them up. So we're going to have 4 welds on the main outside frame, and then we're going to weld on the supports. So let's get going bending some metal. So I've got the same kind of situation that I had set up for building the walk support. I've got the propane burner down here, the brush burner, magneted on, and I've got a jig set up for bending the rebar. So let's get this sucker fired up and start bending some metal. So this one I got mostly, you know, it's kind of in line and square. But because of where I made my marks on this one, it looks a little bit more messed up, and they're definitely not square to each other. And so this is where the cutting part comes in, because I'm lazy and I'm not going to sit here and try and get these perfect when I can just take a slice here and a slice here, take that little bit of metal out and get them aligned up perfectly. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to measure them roughly 11 inches from here down, and get them all measured up and cut, and we'll go from there with the welding. Alright, now that we've got all the pieces cut down, we can go ahead and start tacking these corners together. Or, well, they're not corners, they're end pieces, so we're going to butt weld them all. But while it's on the expanded metal, we're just going to go ahead and put a quick tack, take it off the expanded metal, and then go ahead and run a bead all the way around the bar. Now it's very helpful, one, it's very helpful not to have the sun directly in your face, because then you squint and you look ridiculous like this. Magnets, love magnets, especially for holding pieces together when you're tacking them. Okay, so now before we get to actually welding the grate on, we're just going to finish the rest of this frame out. So what we're going to start off with is welding everything onto the sleeve, the adapter, the adjuster, whatever it is that you really want to call it. I have no preferred nomenclature for it. So I've got this little chunk because we're going to end up making a triangle, and you'll see that here in a second. But this is our vertical for the triangle so that we can get the height correct. It's 3 inches tall, so from here up, and this guy is going to be right about in there. So we've got 2 short pieces of rebar, and these are both 5 1/8. It really doesn't matter because they're just going from here back to here. So realistically, you can make them any length, as long as they're long enough to go from here down to the frame. So I'm just going to tack these at the ends. I'm not going to tack them here yet because this angle, I want to make sure it gets straight. There's going to be 2 more pieces that go from here down out to here to support it. These bars right here. So you can see this is what we're going to tack right now. I'm just going to tack them onto the ends, and then we'll tack them here later. And pull this guy out because we're not going to use it. It's just there as a guide so that we can put it in and establish our angles. Okay, so we've got the cross piece, and really its length is going to be determined by the geometry of the outside frame. This one's about 15 3/8 long, but like I said, it's really all going to be determined by how wide your frame is here. Same with these guys. These are going to be our support braces here, and they're also going to be determined by exactly where you place this and all that good stuff. So I'm going to move this down so that I can get these right into position, and the angle is going to be a little bit off. That's why I didn't weld this on, because I wanted to be able to use the magnets to get them right into position where it needs to be. Okay, now that we got this established in, and we've got these guys where they need to be, we can go ahead and tack those on as well. Alright, looks good to me. All the tacks are done. Let's go ahead and throw some serious bead down and get this all welded up. I don't know, what do you think? Looks pretty good to me. But then again, I'm a little bit biased. Oh, much better. Okay, so I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit. I'm gonna hit it with some high temp barbecue paint just to protect all the metal, and then we'll go ahead and weld the expanded metal grate on top of it. Obviously, we're not gonna paint the expanded metal just because it is our cooking surface. So it's going to be seasoned just like we did the wok. So I'm going to let this cool down, hit it with some paint, and we'll come back and finish the grate off. Alright, we got some high temp barbecue paint on it. It's cooled down for the most part. So let's go ahead and get our expanded metal. Now, one thing that I really want to stress about working with expanded metal is wearing gloves for two reasons. First off, when you cut it with an angle grinder, there's going to be a lot of burrs. So when you're going to cut your hands, if you're not wearing gloves, or if the metal or the expanded metal is not deburred like this is, I've already cut it to length or cut it to size and ran over it with my angle grinder to deburr it. The other reason is if you're ever pulling a piece of expanded metal out of a rack and there happens to be a piece of wood laying up against it, as you pull that out, that piece of wood comes down. And then if you can see that, right there, that scar wraps all the way around my finger to about here, where the exact same thing has happened, and I tried to cut my pinky finger off. It still works, but I can't feel the tip of it. So always wear gloves when you're working with expanded metal. So we're just going to get this sucker lined up. Okay, I'm not going to tack these corners on because your corners are rounded and this is straight, so there's a little bit of an overhang there. Once I get this all tacked down, I'm going to come back with the angle grinder and clean these corners up and then tack them down. Awesome. Well, apparently the camera shut off while I was welding, which is fantastic. I got both sides done real quick, and I'm going to finish on the end here. What do you think?
I don't know. Pretty cool.
Yeah? It's hot, so don't touch it. Those are fine. Well, that's it. This is the grilling grate for the Ultimate Camp Cooking Kit, which includes the wok. So now we've got the second piece, the grilling grate. And if I can come up with any more stuff to throw into the Ultimate Camp Cooking Kit, I will definitely do that and make some more videos on it. I think one of my next live videos, we're probably going to end up cooking some steak on this bad boy. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and put them down in the comments section below. If you're the first time viewer here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Oh, and if you give her a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. If you like the shirt, this is from Alex Steele. If you don't know who Alex Steele is, go over and visit his channel, ALECSTEELE, Alex Steele. He's a really gifted young blacksmith that if you like this stuff, you'll probably like his stuff too. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Can you say bye?
Bye-bye.